Welcome to the Florida Capitol in Tallahassee, Florida. Let's go inside and find out how a bill becomes a law with legislative processes in Florida. In this video, we'll be going through a beautiful tour of the Florida Capitol while also learning about legislative processes and how a bill becomes a law, which is going to be very exciting. You are welcomed with the state seal, historical artifacts, Florida Constitution quotes. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, the buttons for the elevator is actually outside the elevator, so we're going to be going to the 11th floor, where Representative Rita Harris's office is, and we'll be meeting with her and interviewing her. Guys, I am with Representative Rita Harris. So this is James Williams, legislative aide for Representative Rita Harris.
Hi.
And she is the representative for District 44, the Orlando area. How does a legislative aide, how do you guys affect the bill process?
We are the behind-the-scenes faces of the bill writing process. So more likely than not, we're the ones putting the bill into drafting. We're the ones coordinating, scheduling meetings with stakeholders, making sure that the bill language is exactly in the most pristine condition that it can be. So making sure that everything is taken care of to give the rep the best product that we can have.
So Rep, I wanted to ask you, how would you explain the passage of a bill from your perspective in the Florida House?
So in the Florida House, we have 120 members, and everything is run through the majority party. So whoever has the most amount of members is considered the majority party. They get to decide who will be on the committees. And so first you have to file a bill, and you go to bill filing, and you draft it.
There are a lot of deadlines, but how that process works is you whip up a bill draft, you type, either a brief idea or the statute you want to amend or exact language. We send it to what is called House Bill Drafting, and the Senate has one just like it too. And that office formulates it into a proper bill. They make sure that it is well formulated into Florida statutes so that when it is filed, it's formatted correctly. So we don't need to worry about the logistics of that. We're just responsible for getting all the data to them, getting all the information, the purpose of the bill, and they kind of help us clean that up a little bit.
Luckily, if you're lucky, it gets put onto a committee where it's heard.
Follow us downstairs to one of the committee rooms so we can talk about how procedures go. So a little bit about committee procedure before you guys get an inside look on looking at a committee. You'll hear first the attendance, which is done by the clerk.
Representative Harris. Here. Representative Jacques.
Here.
So the clerk will then announce if a quorum is present, and the clerk responds to the chair. The chair will then say, okay, a quorum is present, we can go ahead and proceed. And then they will say how many bills are on the docket.
Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, members. By your presence, we have a quorum.
So, fun fact, the chair actually gets to decide how many bills he or she wants to hear for that day, what bills they are, and what order they're going to be heard in. So the chair kind of has a lot of power over a committee.
We have one bill on today's agenda, and we will have a significant number of appearance cards. It's my intent to allow everyone the opportunity to speak and still allow time for members to debate the bill. Depending on the number of appearance cards, I may limit debate to a predetermined amount of time in order to provide everyone with an opportunity to share their testimony. Members, we will now take up PCS for CS for HB 1505 by Representative Plakin and Representative Kendall.
The chair will then grant the bill sponsor the time for their opening statements.
Representative Plakin, you are recognized to introduce your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing us to present PCS for CS HB 1505.
After the opening statements, the floor is open to all of the members of the committee to ask questions of the bill sponsor. The bill sponsor then answers.
You are recognized for a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If this amendment is adopted and the bill is passed, if a doctor is unable to reach a parent or guardian to get consent, will they still be able to render services to minimize the minor's risk of suffering health hazards?
Yes.
You are recognized.
Sorry. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, that's covered in the bill.
Once there are no more questions, the chair will then open it up to any appearance cards that the people fill out. So if you're ever in the Capitol and want to speak on a bill, you can in committee. You just have to fill out an appearance card, give it to the clerk, and the clerk will then give it to the chair, who will grant you the time and space to speak on a bill.
Seeing no further questions, is there any public testimony on the amendment? Melanie Brown-Woofter, Florida Council for Behavioral Health. You are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, members of the committee. I want to say I'm Melanie Brown-Wolfter with the Florida Council for Behavioral Health.
After public testimony, it is then open for testimony of all representatives in the committee to then speak on behalf of the bill, whether they're for or against it, and urge their colleagues to vote the same way that they are going to be voting. Then it's time for the chair to grant the bill sponsor the time to close. Sometimes they will use the closing statement to answer any follow-up questions, to mention things that were said in public testimonies and those kinds of things, because the bill sponsor cannot speak during that time. So they'll use their closing statement to address any concerns that the public had, or sometimes they just waive close because everything that could be said has been said. Once that happens, the chair will then open it up for a vote, and then the clerk will say, Representative Harris, yay or nay. And once they vote, the clerk will then finally decide how many yeas and how many nays, and the chair gets the final say on whether or not that bill has passed committee.
Most bills have to go through the committee process. Usually they're assigned 3, but some bills only have 2 committees. Once they make it all the way through the committee process, they will be put on the special order calendar, and then they will be heard on the House floor, where they will be voted on by the entire Florida House.
This is the Florida House of Representatives gallery, and here is where the public can come and watch session in person if you're here. This is all the gallery decorum. Decorum is a very big thing here. It's all about respect. So here is where you would be sitting and watching session. Right now they are under construction, as you can see, but don't worry, you guys can see it here right now.
By Appropriations Committee on Pre-K through 12 Education, Education Pre-K through 12, and Senator Yarborough, CS for Senate Bill 1402, a bill to be entitled An Act Relating to Students Enrolled in Dropout Retrieval Programs.
Representative Botana, you're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any debate? Representative Botana, you are recognized to close. Having waived close, the question now recurs on final passage of CS for SB 1402. The clerk will unlock the machine and members will proceed to vote. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? The clerk will lock the machine and announce the vote.
116 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. Speaker.
Show the bill passes. Read the next bill.
Florida House. And if it passes there, then it goes to the governor's office, and hopefully the governor signs it, and once he signs it, it becomes a law effective the date that is required on the bill.
Yay, the bill passed the House and the Senate. Now it's off to the governor's office.
Hi, welcome to the governor's office.
Sometimes the governor will do a press conference to sign the bills, and getting a pen that the governor used is a very high honor and very cool.
It's really hard because we were given 7 bills. This session we were given 1 additional slot that we could use to repeal a law that was already passed. A lot of it you have to think about what is important to you and your passions, and also stakeholders that you've worked with in the past and those that you feel you work really well with.
And I would argue that the best bills that we have run come from constituents. I think, you know, every member has issues that they get elected and they're passionate about and that they want to, you know, come and run on. But having a constituent reach out and really getting to see something that's important to them is really super impactful. So they can absolutely help with that.
A lot of times different organizations have policy ideas that, you know, they think are really important to them, like Disability Rights Florida is an example of an organization that has a lot of policy ideas. And also I look for bills to co-sponsor that also follow what I believe in and the things that are important to me. So if a bill really speaks to me personally and I think it's a good bill, I will go ahead and request co-sponsorship, and that's just a way to show support for other legislation, even if you're not personally filing it.
A lot of the times folks ask us, and you know, myself, my representative, you know, what are you working on? How can I help? And in those conversations, you know, you might find that they know a lot more about the subject than we do, and they're great to help influence that project. Maybe put something in a bill that wouldn't have already been there, maybe take something out that shouldn't be there, or just to be a wealth of knowledge to, you know, influence that process as well.
And what advice do you want to give to citizens who want to better understand the whole legislative process?
I always tell them to go directly to the source, and you can watch all of your government in action in real time. A lot of times counties, their own local county TV. In Orange County where I serve, we have Orange TV, And then, of course, there's the floridachannel.org. You can watch it online. You can stream it on your phone or on your device, or you can watch it on TV. And then for federal, there's C-SPAN. And I think that's where you really see what's happening, and it really helps you understand, what the real process is. You can watch the committees. You can watch the live floor sessions, and that's really what I encourage everybody to do. Go directly to the source. You don't need any news channel. Just watch real government as it's happening.
I would say reach out. Don't be intimidated. I know it is super intimidating whether you want to call your state representative or county commissioner or whoever, any of your elected officials. I know being in the Capitol is super intimidating. Don't be afraid to reach out. I think that those are at least the phone calls and the emails that I enjoy the most, just walking someone through that process. I saw this, article on news and I don't understand what this bill is. How can we stop it? And walking them through that process, the committee process, who they need to contact to, make sure that the bill is stopped or a good bill is passed. Those are what we really enjoy doing. So don't be afraid to reach out. It really does make a difference. And I know, again, this sounds cheesy, but truly advocacy matters in the Capitol and the entire state and any public forum. So when you do reach out, your voice is heard, and it really does make a difference.